Hi everyone, I'm back. Welcome in. If you're on YouTube, it's Spirit Mother, or sorry, Spirit to Spirit Teachings of Going Within Self. And if you are on TikTok, welcome to 1974 Enlightened Souls, aka Spirit Mother. Today, I'm going to talk about standing your ground in your truth. Okay, because right now, today is a very it feels like a very heavy day, and I've had a lot going on within my throat chakra. And every time I come on, it's like something kind of get in the way and kind of stop me. Before I get started, before I get started, because there may be some new people coming into my channel, and I'm just going to kind of give you an outline of what my channel is about, because it can get very strange sometimes. I can come off as a bitch, an a-hole, but it's all in how you perceive it. Oh, because it's not on that. That's why that's there. Okay. So let me start off. It starts, hi everyone. I am AKA Spirit Mother, and I'm here to wake people up to see how we've been treating each other and our earth. I'm a unique type of spirit guide. I am a psychic, a medium, a channeler, a telepath, and an empath. I also speak and sign different languages, all of which can be very intense at times. On my channel, I talk about everyday life, the ignorance, greed, the hatred, etc. I do it to get people to look within themselves and how we have been acting in life towards ourselves and others, including animals. Some people may not like what I have to say, whereas others may totally understand. Sometimes I may not come off a very spiritual person. However, I ask you to look within yourself and see what spirituality really means. It is the enlightenment, waking up to the truth, the good, bad, and the ugly stuff that we don't like to see about ourselves, about the world, and others. Sometimes we need a little tough love to be able to look within ourselves. I am the inner conscience. Okay. Last night I was I was in bed. It was like I think it was like in the middle of the night. I was laying there and I woke up and our minds get going. Okay, and this is why I say stand our ground, because I posted a picture and I had like karma is a bitch, because everybody says karma is a bitch. Well, karma is a bitch. Okay, and karma is a loving one. Okay, so when I was laying there, the word bitch came into my mind because people like to play on words. Okay, give it a definition. Well, for bitch, I'm giving it the definition that it means being in truth and compassion, truth, compassion, harmony. That's what bitch means to me, because that's what karma is. It's teaching us to come into our own truth, to be compassionate with others, to come into harmony. There's been a lot going on. Like a lot of us, if you're on this journey of awakening, you're coming into yourself. So you're starting to speak your truths, and you're standing in your truths, and others don't like it, which that's okay, because they're not there yet. Yeah. Right now, I'm kind of clearing things because it's like a blockage, and I heard that like there's a lot of rumors of like TikTok being banned in different parts of the world and what have you, and it's like, okay, so are they supposedly banning TikTok because people are bringing truths to light, like even within themselves, and kind of sharing their own stories to help others to understand that, you're not alone. You're actually experiencing what you're experiencing. So it's a part of standing in your truth. And a lot of the time we get in our own way. And I do move a lot because, and this happens because it's the spirit to spirit, okay? Because spirit speaks through me, and I embrace that. And a lot of people sometimes throw shade, and they don't believe what I'm trying to bring forth. That spirit, God, is what's going to get you through whatever you're going through. It's just being able to sit with yourself and having faith. And I know that can be hard sometimes because it was extremely hard for me. And I've been trying to express to people that, it is real. It does work. And sometimes it's like I do get the attacks on me. It's like, excuse me, confirmation. It's like some want to shut you down. And part of the reason is because it can be hard for others to be in their truth because they've been ridiculed, because they're not there yet. Some of us are further ahead, and some of us are just starting out, and some of us just don't have a sweet friggin' clue as to what's going on with others and stuff, because a lot of people are still focused on the medical system in the form that it's partly because it's actually not listening to the person as a person. It's more of looking at a book and saying, well, this is what I learned from the book, and forgetting your own experiences, because a lot of people go into the mental health field because they're trying to understand themselves, or they're trying to understand a family member, and you're not going to really find that in a book. It's more of being able to listen to the person, hear the person. I had somebody today tell me, like, sometimes you can try too hard to help someone find heaven and actually end up sending them to hell. Well, no, because you have to find heaven yourself, because the heaven is within you. But people don't believe that. It's like, okay, well, I can't make you believe it. You can only come to that truth yourself. And for me to come to that truth is very difficult. And I know, like, I live around, I have a lot of attacks coming in at me, and that's okay. Because it can be hard. Like, I know, like some don't understand what I'm bringing forward, because it's more of the aspect of, like, others will say, well, you have to go to church to find God. You have to read the Bible to find God. And I'm not throwing shade on religion. I'm not throwing shade on the Bible. I'm not throwing shade on church or anything, because I'd like to be able to go to church, because I like the singing and what have you. You can actually go in, and when people are actually truly connected to God, to spirit, then you can actually feel it. I was there one day, and I was feeling someone, and I was kind of looking at them, and I feel the inside. And then there was this woman behind me, and then all of a sudden, like, I could feel her, and I could feel that she was connected with God. Some refer to it as God, spirit, source, mother, father, creator. People even say, like, Jesus being your savior and what have you. But Jesus is telling us that we're able to save ourselves, and we look for external forces. He was healing people, but only, like I said, because of their own faith. Like, God is healing me because I'm having faith in the tools that is being brought forth to me. It's like, I'm not going to stop talking about it because I know my own experiences and I am standing in my truth. I am being my truth, even if it makes me look like a fool, or like some people have told me like what you're doing is satanic and demonic and what have you. But it's like, I'm going to say to those people, like, did you read your Bible? You want to say about the Bible, but did you really read the Bible? Did you understand the Bible, what it was saying? Or did you just kind of read bits and pieces? It's not about pushing a Bible on someone. It's them being able to go in and read the Bible and take from it what they get, not what we interpret it to be, because everybody sees it differently. Yan todo ese tutu y televi yes and yeah, oh yeah. I'm gonna read a card just because I do it basically every time. Um, it's whatever spirit brings forward. Some call it light language, some call it tongues. Others has told me that it sounds like I'm speaking Celtic, Portuguese, German, Ukraine. I've even been told I've spoken Hopi when I first started going through my journey. Like I've had people say, like, "What Asian language are you speaking?" Because it just comes out, right? It's like being the channel, allowing spirit to channel through you. Yeah. But like it's like I've gone into a church and it's like, well, I don't understand what you're saying. So it's like, like it's right in the Bible. They're speaking it, but you're throwing shade on somebody who is speaking in a form of the language that the Bible speaks about. So do you really believe what you're putting out there? Do you really believe what you're preaching? And that's the part where, like, it's about the going within yourself, and instead of throwing shade on somebody else, whether it's because you want to be doing it yourself or what have you. I worked with a woman last night, and it feels good to be able to work with people so that they have a safe space to be able to express themselves in the way of what they're experiencing, what they're feeling. If they're speaking different forms of languages, it's giving them that space to be able to be themselves. And we struggle with that a lot. So farming looks mighty easy when your plow is a pencil and you're 1,000 miles from the cornfield. I don't understand that yet, but the universe just kind of throws things out there because the universe is it's God, it's everything and everyone as a whole. Because it's that aspect of I and you and me. So when people throw attacks at me, you're only doing it to yourself. And that's hard to comprehend for people sometimes. But it's like I'm not going to throw it back at you because I don't know what you're going through. I don't know what you're experiencing. I don't even really know why you're doing it. Maybe you're doing it because you've heard things about a person. And I've wanted to work with people and point out, like, I see your potential. And I've told people, but you can't tell people, they have to come to it themselves. But it's about, like, not sticking to one platform because you're making a few pennies here and there, or you're making what have you. Don't look for the followers. Allow yourself to open up and like don't focus on having the followers because if you have something good to offer, then other people will come, right? That's what it says. They will come. If you have something that they like, that they resonate with, they will come. So when when we ground, and I know sometimes I find it hard myself to ground because I feel really like slow, and I just feel like I just want to lift off the ground and say, "See you later, world." But that's because it's the frustration, it's the impatience, and that's been pointed out to me. Like I want to get to where I'm going, and it feels like it takes forever. And that's when we need to sit with it. I have right now, I have like a, it's like somebody just wants to holler, and I can feel it. It's like that wrath coming up. And I don't want anybody coming in. I don't want people thinking that I'm making fun of any languages or what have you, because I'm not doing this. It's coming through because when you try to hold back and suppress it, it gives you that pain. So on my channel, I do come off being aggressive sometimes, but it's not so much me as it is like spirit in different forms, even our ancestors. And I'm not blaming, I'm not saying like it's, if we think that spirit doesn't get frustrated with us, well, spirit does because it's trying to tell us that, you know, you're going in the wrong direction. We're trying, like, God tries to guide you, God brings you things to help you, but then we just kind of dismiss it and say, oh, well, that's nothing. So then we miss that opportunity. And if we keep doing that, then we miss the opportunity. And we have people saying, oh, you have to be this way, you have to be that way. You have to be authentic. It's about being authentic. The past couple days, a few days, it's been hell in a lot of ways because it's just been a wrath. It's been like a lot of anger coming up, and that's part of the purging. And it hurts, and I know that it's not always mine, and I'm not dismissing what comes out of me, but I later find out that it's actually coming from somewhere else. It's coming from a different aspect of myself. And that stuff is true. But people don't want to believe that. It's like you see something that's hard to believe and we dismiss it. But then we say, oh, well, that's weird. what you're saying is weird for a reason. You're noticing something. It can even be like the deja vu. Yep, I do like hearing myself speak because I go watch myself afterwards. Because it's actually a lot of the time when I'm speaking, I was just thinking of Alice in Wonderland and the song Bad Alice comes on. No such thing as coincidences, just synchronicities. And that's what we dismiss. And they come in hot and heavy. When they come in hot and heavy, it's because it's being said to you. Clearing. Yeah. Wow. Wow. We are bad Alice because we go down a rabbit hole. It's like the rabbit hole of truth of ourselves, truth of what the real message is, and it's enlightenment to spirit, enlightenment to our own authentic being. Good. Throat chakra, and it's it's like the feeling of almost like somebody's trying to choke you, and it's like, I'm going to say it again. God prepared me for this in many different ways. And I'm going to say, I'm going to lean into it. Because if somebody's choking me because they want me to shut up or they want to cause harm to me, I'm sorry you feel that way. But I'm right here. If that is what gets you through the day, to cause harm to someone else, because you find it difficult to look at your own truths, then I guess that's what you got to do. But I'm not going to give it up. I come here to help people. And if someone has that much anger that they want to put that much pain and hurt and harm on someone, then I feel very sorry for you, because it's the part of you're holding yourself back, as I said many times before, because I was holding myself back. We hold ourselves back by blaming other people because we can't get ahead. And sometimes, yes, people get in the way, but it's finding that way around it, because you can't. Trying to get someone to see. But it's like when you have your blinders on, you can't fathom somebody that come out of the depths of nothing. Someone that was basically on assistance since they were 18 years of age because they had a child. It's not fun. It's very hard living on a small income, paying rent, buying your food, paying your heat and light bill. And we get people that says about people living on the streets. Some people live on the streets because in ways they choose to, because they don't want to be a part of the system. And then they feel like they have to do whatever they can in order to survive. Sometimes people are out on the streets because they have no home, because they were evicted, or because they had no money to pay the rent. Because people are saying there's no housing, there's no housing. Well, anytime, like if I look, there's housing. It's too expensive. And even when you look and you're looking for a room to rent, just a room, they're wanting $900 to rent a room. And when you're on assistance, and if you're renting a room, you get $600 a month. So that $600 a month doesn't even pay your rent. I actually talked to a couple people that were living on the streets, and they told me that assistance gives them $300 a month to survive. So, and that you can't even get an apartment. You can't get anything. You're lucky if you can get food for that price, especially now. And they said, like they go into these uh, homeless shelters, and you're not even safe in there half the time. So you don't have a safe environment. And then it's that wonder of why things are happening. I know someone that like I met at the beginning, basically the beginning of my journey, and they're living on the streets now. But the journey is not about going and living on the street. It's about finding your own self-worth and putting aside comments. And it is difficult for someone who is living out on the streets that has no home. It is difficult for them to get a place. It is difficult for them to get a job. So it's a system, and it's a system that doesn't work. And that's where we need to go into our branding, sound our truth, share our experiences. It's that part of bringing awareness. And a lot of people don't want to bring that awareness because a lot of the time they're afraid of what others will say. I'm hearing a lot about like bringing immigrants and not enough housing and what have you. And I was like, why are you taking it out on the immigrants? Seriously. I just heard somebody say they're taking our jobs. Do you know why it's ending up that way? Because the employers don't want to pay the wages that people really deserve, even those immigrants. I went into McDonald's one day and I went to give a tip. They give me my change back, and I was going. They're not allowed to accept it. Seriously, I don't agree with that, and I don't agree with $15 an hour. And the people will say, "Oh, well, that's inflation." You can't even live off $15 an hour, especially if you have a family. But people will tell you, "Get over it." It's that part of robbing Peter to pay Paul, or going and getting a credit card because you feel you need a credit card to pay your bills. You feel you need a credit card to buy your gas to get to work. You feel you need a credit card to buy your groceries, buy your stuff for your children. It's like, seriously? We shouldn't be doing that. We shouldn't even have to feel like We have to do that. And I'm trying to explain that we can bring ourselves out of that. I am bringing myself out of it. I have things that I'm working on, and nobody needs to know right now because it's nobody's business but mine at the moment. Mine and God's spirit, what have you. That's our business right now. But I'm working on stuff. I'm working on me. The same as others are working on themselves. And if the people that are working on themselves can't understand that or don't want to, that's on them. You shouldn't be throwing something at someone because you're not doing it. That's on you. It bothers me to know that there's so many people, especially our younger generations, they're sitting in a room, a dark room, and smoking marijuana and playing video games that are about fighting and anger. But they have hopes and they have dreams. They've just been knocked down so many times that they don't know how to get there. And then the ones that come to try and show them, well, there's been so much crap that's gone on and said that nobody wants to believe them. It's like, thank you. Everybody just wants to turn a blind eye to it. If you know how to manifest stuff, if you know how to make a better life for yourself, it's a part of teaching others how you did it. And it's not about, like I said many times, it's not about getting there on the backs of others. It's like, has people ever noticed that when somebody doesn't want something or in need of something, they don't contact you, they don't come around. But then when they want something or need something, they come to you and then you jump. That is someone taking advantage of you. That is someone who is using you in a lot of ways. If they don't have anything to do with you until they want something from you, that's when you need to start saying, look, no, sorry. It's like, if you can't come around me and be around me when I have nothing to offer you, then when you feel like I have something to offer, don't bother coming around me. And some may not like that. And someone said, oh, well, you're supposed to do good things for people. You're supposed to this and that. If they're using you and like you've clicked in so that you're being used, well, okay, well, that's your stupidity and that's on you. Because it's not about being someone's go-to, but you're not good enough when they don't mean anything from you. It's like, you can't be my friend when I have nothing to offer, but then when you think that I may have something to offer, you want to step in and be my friend and then just possibly give lip service. And then when once again I have nothing to offer that you need or want, then you want nothing to do with me. Or you want to go spread. I'm not talking specifically about me, but then people want to go spread rumors about that person and say that they're a bitch. Well, okay, you want to say I'm a bitch? Yep. I'm being in truth, compassion, and understanding. And I am loving. And people may say, well, you don't come off very loving. Well, you're not around me, are you? You don't know what I go through. You don't know what other people go through. And then they still come out on top, and people don't like that. They look and, "Oh, yeah, how's that happening?" Like we've taken everything from them. But it's a part of, well, no, actually, you didn't take everything from me because you're not able to take God from me. You can try. Some people want to push people to the breaking point where some people, they feel like they can't take it no more. And then we end up finding them deceased somewhere. I know a number of people that have taken their lives. I went to school with them. Some, like even the people that have tried. I tried a few times. Most recent in 2020, April of 2020. It'll be almost 4 years ago this April. And that was right around the time when I had my second wide awake. And it's like, do I really want to like see people have to hit rock bottom before they get a clue? Do I want to see people have to lose their stuff before they get a clue? There's people out there like myself that's trying to talk. But like being a good person, helping, but not being used. Not somebody draining your energy, allowing somebody to drain your energy and leave your cup empty. Meanwhile, they've just filled up on yours. And then others wonder why people like myself get so angry because we take it and we take it and we take it and we take it until it's like, the friggin' wrath of God is going to come out. It's like God saying, stand up for yourself. Stop taking that shit. What are you doing? It's an act of random kindness. I went to the dollar store one day and there was a gentleman at the cash register and he tried using his card about 5 times. Even like, and I'm like, okay, like I understand. And I offered to pay for their stuff. Not because I felt that because it was just something good. Because I seen that, okay, like your card's not working, here, like I'll pay for it, like, just like pay it forward to somebody else. Because everybody needs help sometimes. And it doesn't matter if you're rich, poor, or in between. Because God don't pick favorites. God don't care if you're rich or poor or in between. And some people, I felt that. Because there are some people that have wealth and they worked hard for it. And then it becomes a part of remembering where you came from to get to where you are. And I had somebody tell me that they have a real problem with rich people because of the way that some of them treat others. It's like your dirt beneath my feet. It's like I watched the 2021 musical Cinderella. So like I resonate with it. because we've been treated like cousins our whole life. And she took this dress to market. And because it was a man's world, everybody mocked her. When she went out the first, when she went up to this woman that you could tell was very rich, she called her a street urchin. And she said that she should contact the guards. But she made a dress. She created something. And everybody else mocked her because she did. She was a woman. And then the prince come along disguised, bought the dress from her, and wanted her to go to the ball. So somebody's seen her potential and said that the system wasn't fair. But she did. She in the movie, she had a point, especially for the women. We are women. We have children. We give birth. It's like, what is it, like 12 different bones or something like that in the male body breaking in order for them to experience what it's like for a woman to give birth. But yeah, we can't do nothing. We're weak. They said, what are we not? Like, no, we're not. Like, holy shit. You get friggin' heads like that big coming out your wazoo. It's an way. So it's like, oh my gosh. That just, phew. So it's like, really? Okay, gentlemen, I would love to see the head of your penis expand as far as it can, and then push the baby into the front of it. Wow, can't do it. And you have other things that you're able to, and that's like anything. But when you ground yourself and you find your balance, you find spirit within. Spirit, you have spirit within, and then you have spirit all around you. Because spirit is everything. They call it energy. Because unless spirit puts itself in a physical form in order for you to see, then it's like you're looking through air. And air is everything. It's like the part of opening the eye here. Allowing it to open and expand and see your own potential. Like, God's spirit source, creator, mother, father. This is just God. Whomever you prefer. You see that, and I just felt that in there. Okay. Like I could even say, okay, because others look for Michael for protection, Archangel Michael for protection. And then you have others that like I'm going to say the name and biblical people may not like it or what have you, but like Lucifer, okay? Like unless you were there, do you really know what happened? Do we really know like the whole story? It's like some say, oh well, Lucifer had the ego. I have to ask, was Lucifer like Lucifer a man or a woman? Because don't they say we come we come in pairs, and a lot of people say that Michael and Lucifer were twins. So there was one the girl and one the boy, or how that worked, because I know that if you watch The Good Omen, in season 2, it shows like the going up to the medium, like heaven before heaven, and in that like storyline, they had Michael as a female. We're talking about Lucifer, and everybody thinks that Lucifer is a demon, and the song about the demon, um, or, uh, love is a demon. Right? So, like, no such thing as coincidences, just synchronicities. It's like we put the fear is there. It's like I question that all the time of what really happened. What is the real storyline? And then if you watch the series Lucifer, okay, people say everybody should have a happy ending. That's what I look at. Okay, in that storyline towards the end, Michael comes in and he's the bad guy. Well, I mean, they both are kind of bad in that show. I'm not taking one side or the other because, I went through a real big experience because it's like, are those two fighting? And, well, I mean, they say they are, but it's like, hey, really? It's like, was because there's usually like you have the feminine and you have the masculine. Okay, you come feminine, you come masculine, and it's like, do we separate from ourselves? Yeah, yeah, it's moving up, and some may not like what I have to say, especially ones of like specific religious congregations or what have you. But we're entitled to ask questions. We don't have to believe everything that we're told. We have our own discernment. We have our own way of finding God. And it's not about like not living life. It's not about being in sorrow and misery and being in pain all the time. It's about the rising up, allowing your hopes and dreams to come to the surface. It's not about not having anything. It's about like sharing what you do have, sharing the knowledge you have, instead of hoarding it all for yourself. A lot of people have heard of the Akashic records, that they're keeping that they've been keeping the Akashic records. Okay. Well, did you really know that you can get access within yourself to the Akashic records? They're your records. It's like when you go to a doctor's office or a psychiatrist or what have you. Anywhere you go, they like to keep records. They're your records. You know your own records, do you not? At least you should. Because I know that I've gone before to try, like, I mean, in the physical part, to try to get my medical records, and it's like pulling teeth sometimes. They don't want to give it to you because they say they own the records. Well, how the fuck do you own the records if they're mine? That's my stuff. You might be writing it down, but it's my story. And then they go and manipulate your story because the same as the Bible. Things can get manipulated or misinterpreted when you write it down, because are you actually writing right at that moment, or are you going by memory? You put the end, it's good. I can feel it right in here. Tengo crianza, me hace prieta, y tu prieta. It's just spirit to spirit. Like, really? Tenemos tu riesce la veria che tu ritu cum. E le putu rieta toi. It's like, wow. Like, because I say something that is truth, are you gonna end up cutting me off in the middle of it? I'll have to say it probably would be first, because I know that we get restricted. It's like putting a limit to who we want to hear when it should be going out. I'm not saying anything that's about, because this is my truth, and I'm standing in my truth. I'm standing in my ground. Where we actually be grounded. We go within ourselves, and we allow ourselves to look at the stuff that we don't want to look at. Look at our own told stories. If you don't want the old, if you don't want the old outcome, then fucking change it. If you don't want to keep repeating the same thing over, then change it. You're the only one that can do that. I've said it before, and I'll say it again, and it's true. And I found that, like, God is always trying to help you. Okay, and it's like that part of God helps those who help themselves, because you know that God is helping you when you start helping yourself. But some religious, I had one time, not saying them all, or just, I'm not saying it's everyone in it. I'm saying that I had this one person that was really of what they referred to as, like, well, there's their religion, or like my way of thinking was wrong. Why was my way of thinking wrong? Because it's true. You know that God is helping you when you start helping yourself, and when you start accomplishing things, because that's the part of you getting out of your own life. So we hear all this stuff to cause fear. This is what's happening, and that, and what have you. And I'm going to use words that people don't even like sometimes. Christ and Antichrist. They said that about the Antichrist. Well, the Antichrist is already here, and we're fucking prime example of it, because we're not getting it. There may be somebody that's trying to pull the strings, but it's like those chains, break them. It's a good thing. And it's hard. I know. It can be hard. But it doesn't mean that you can't do it. It's a limited belief. And have you ever heard of the saying, you are your own prophecy? You could I, and you are. We are our own prophecy. But we don't want to look at that, because no, other people is telling us the prophecy. Well, that's their point of view. Doesn't mean it's always right. But if a lot of people start believing that that prophecy is for them too, then we just create it. That's a part of, like, um, I've come to find out that hell and heaven, it's a state of being, it's a state of mind. It's where you place yourself, where you place your limited beliefs and the restrictions that you put on yourself, because you believe what everybody else is saying, because that's the narrative. Well, change your own narrative. Vegetariaturien. Speak your truth. Allow it to flow through you. I get so tired of hearing all of what people are saying is negative in the world. Ever notice when you're looking things up, like on YouTube or anything like that, like a platform, when you look up specific things, ever notice that they start throwing that at you of recommendation and you end up going down that path? It's like you go down that rabbit hole. I believe that there's fairies. I believe that there's unicorns and freaking mermaids and all this stuff that they say is myth. And if people want to look at me and say, "Oh my gosh, lady, like you really need help," no, I saw the light, literally, because you do see one when you die, and it's pretty freaking bright too. Unfortunately, they wouldn't let me remember what I seen because they figured I wouldn't want to come back here. I came here, back here. I came back for this very thing I'm doing right now. Because the service I'm giving is service to God. That's more of the service, serving what God sees for you and for others. A lot of us don't want to believe that. And people think, oh, you just came back, like you're just a God preacher and you're a Bible thumper. Have I once thumped the Bible? And it's not because I don't believe in it. It's what I asked for that. And I have this too. Because I know that people don't want to hear this, but and Bashar will say it too, everything out there is someone's truth. But some people don't want to believe it because they think it's not possible. And if you think that way, oh well, you're demonic or like you're possessed or something like that because you have a difference of opinion. I'll be honest. I had an exorcism in 2000, or sorry, in '99 because I used a Ouija board and didn't know what I was doing. And that was like a rabbit hole, and that was like Pandora's box. Just hope come. It was like hope came flying through, and then I went through so much, and the stuff you see in the movies. In that aspect, it's not fun. It's pretty freaking scary. But after that, I still didn't learn. I went right back to the same old pattern. And then I had someone come along, and it was like a knight in shining armor. Helped me through a lot, and I couldn't understand why they weren't helping themselves when I was trying to help them through. But some things don't work out the way you hoped. And if they're not working out in that way, it's because you're around each other for a different reason. It's like if the universe keeps throwing you back at something or a similar situation, it's something that you have to work on within yourself and asking yourself why you keep repeating the same thing over and over again. It's learning to change something, do something different. If you're being bullied, stand up for yourself. And some stuff we just gotta walk away from. It's about picking your battles, and I know I gotta learn that. Basically, basically, but I know that it's like the spirit to spirit, and when the spirit sees the spirit, it's like vroom. So we're here to heal those. Vroom. So like, holy shit, man! It's like make the shift, but take no shit on the way. It's not about tit for tat, but it is that don't do to somebody else what you don't want done to you. Yeah, yeah, so they do. So when I speak my truth and others don't want to hear it, part of it is that I send a reflection out in some ways, as others throw a reflection of myself out. Okay. So, and trust me, I don't like getting my own reflection back at me. I go and I watch my videos because I need to get that reflection back at me, whether I want it or not. So, what better reflection are you than if you were able to give yourself that self reflection? And it can be all of just going on and doing a video for yourself and speaking as if you're talking to other people of how you're feeling or what you're experiencing and what advice would you give somebody in your position. Well, I personally don't like going in to sit in an office and just keep repeating the same thing over again, or like somebody saying, "Here, you got to take this pill," or "No, we have to send you to this person because we have to get a diagnosis on you before we can treat you." And then that diagnosis becomes a label. It's a stamp. Aquí estoy. Pústala. It's like, take it away because you're not that label. And you're not, if you change things, you are no longer that person from the past. So it's not part of why are we still looking at it? Or why are we still looking? Because we're looking at it, we can be getting different information. It's like if you put in that situation again, you can look and say, like, okay, what they do there, but do it differently. In that aspect, it can help. But you're not living in the past, you're not living in the future, you just be in the now moment. And when you're in the now moment, you'll find yourself to be calmer, able to think more in more of a creative aspect, coming to your inner truth, your real truth of who you are. Is they say your higher self, but as your spirit within. And right now, our spirits can feel like they're angry because it's been beaten up. And then that's when you bring yourself back to yourself and spirit back to you. When I hear people telepathically, it's like I'm hearing them from the heart. I know. It seems pretty messed up. But I'm going to live in my truth. And if to people I look like I'm crazy or that I'm out to lunch, delusional, psychotic, what have you, no, not brainwashed, enlightened. I heard that in my movie. Good intentions are here. And if someone tries to get in here that is not meant to be there because there's something, then that's where it's like, nope, not yet. Certain spirits have something going on and it needs to be sorted out. People say, oh, well, everybody's gone to a better place. Sometimes. You ever watch a series Once Upon a Time, and do I believe in that stuff? I sure do. Because I see the resemblance. I see what it's showing us on there, and I see it in the real world. Well, in the world we perceive to be the real world. Proud to be out to lunch. Can't say the burger was good today because I don't need meat. It's really weird a lot because I know it's like, are you a robot lady? Because it's like you see my head going like this and stuff like that. I was like, no, I'm just like, whatever. It's moving the energy and it's like spirit saying, okay, you gotta move for us. Do a little jig. But I love dancing and I know that masculine doesn't like it. Some masculines don't like dancing. And sometimes it's because masculine can be insecure. But a feminine can be insecure too. And it's neither nor either gender because we're all masculine, feminine. We just have ended up leaning one way or the other. Sometimes far left, far right, the political stuff. But it's that coming to balance because it's like you're in a fight with yourself. I know some don't understand my language. That's okay. I can't teach you this language in that sense of like saying the words in English and bringing it to you, but by speaking it, I'm actually putting codes and message and what have you, like just even a vibration, and that's why some will feel it. Like sometimes you can feel it, especially when we have shadows, and the light reflects on the shadows, and it kind of flares it up like you bitch. Yeah, but we all can be that, and sometimes we have to bring that bitch out in the way of being in truth, which, yes, being in truth. You're speaking the truth. You're standing up for yourself. And the bitch, as in, okay, the bitch is a dog. So we're female dogs, and females will protect their young. It's like I say, like for a lot of dogs, if you want protection, they usually say they're female because the males are actually more playful with the children. And I actually had somebody say, even in the human, it's the same thing. It's about being able to work like as if you're working with yourself, taking turns and everybody coming together because that family, that's actually the most important thing. It tops money, and some people say that it doesn't, but it should. Family should be over top of money. And people say, well, we need money to live. Well, if you're putting money before your own family and your family goes to shit, then what good is your well, what good is your money? Say goodbye and shut up. And I was talking about credit cards, like we buy food and stuff like that. I had one credit card for $350. It was my own $350. You got to put it on that, you know. So I only spent my own money, but after I spent that money, I just like, I let it go because I may as well just use my freaking bank account. But when you get a credit card and they glorify it, oh, come get your credit, come get your credit. 19, 20% interest. Some places are 28 and 29% interest. So think of what you're paying. You're buying something, you say it's expensive now, and then you pay with a credit card, and there's that interest on top of it. It's like, okay, it makes no sense, but they'll glorify it, make it so exciting that it's a great thing to have. Meanwhile, that actually means to create debt. That's the play on words, and I love to do that because they're always saying about righteous. Well, the way I see the word righteous is someone who makes right choices. I get a feeling like people are like somebody's trying to like wrap their head around with what I just said. But it is. It's right choices. And sometimes we feel like we didn't make the right choice. Don't worry, don't dwell on it. And I know that can be harder, easier said than done. But I feel like when I said that, I felt it go right to the mind to Sekoituria tarvitseeko joku tuturia, joku tuturia, sekoita. That would be more of a limited belief. Just know that when stuff is happening, it's not that I'm talking directly to you. I'm talking to form like spirit to spirit. Because I know that there's others that come in, even if we don't know that they're there in that aspect, because it's like being seen through spirit in that sense. I know some weird, it sounds strange, and I'm trying to wrap my head around that one too. But I know that it makes sense. Not just in my world, because I know others that feel the same way. So, but he's not the actual not being rude, but so yeah, oh well. Yeah, this happens. And do I feel embarrassed, humiliated? No, I actually like I'm in the right. And a lot of you know that it's not always a nice roller coaster. We're all something. And anybody that tries to tell us differently, I feel for them because they don't know that there's something to it. I may get pissed off, but when I say stuff, it's not to insult you. It's taken how you if you're having a hard time with yourself and I say something that irritates you, well, it doesn't irritate you. It's like a rush. I'm getting there. It's like you get when you get calm, you actually feel it in your body. It's almost like when you get in a real good meditative state and you get quiet within yourself, then you'll actually start feeling your body become lighter as you release stuff that just you don't need to hold on to. It's asking yourself, why am I holding on to this? It's like when you do a purge, spring cleaning. Okay, it's doing that spring cleaning for yourself. Se potrebbe essere e sostituire per primo cliente See, I never used to love myself until I was actually made spirit to sit with myself and deal with myself and start doing that inner cleaning with myself. And then when I did it in my physical, as I was doing it in my physical too, it was actually doing it in my body because it was purging both at the same time. Because you hold on to stuff that you just don't know what you have. Sometimes you can find it in garbage. And then we went like we see ourselves as like, why am I like why did I keep this? But it's that part because like when I was doing it, was actually had somebody that told me they were going to help me. I never had help, but now I know like the universe is saying, no, this is something you need to do on your own. So when I was doing it, holy heck, man, you talk about screaming and bawling because I had to let go of stuff and I didn't like I was just like I just overwhelmed. That's more of what it was. And I just felt that like, more of an overwhelming feeling. And that part where you just don't know where to start. So it's doing that hard stuff. And while you're doing it, actually, like you can even think like kind of if you're at something and you kind of stop, think to yourself like the story behind it. What is its significance? Or why do you feel it's so important? And then the part of like allowing yourself to experience your feelings because a lot of people will avoid your feelings and a lot of people will avoid looking through photo albums or different things of paperwork. It's like looking and seeing where you were, where you've been, and where you are now. And each phase, see what it is that you're trying to sort out. But I'm going to tell you right now, you may think that avoiding looking at photos because of its memories, you're actually holding yourself back from moving forward in some respects because there's always obviously a reason why you have trouble looking at those photos. And that's that part in here, like you're holding on to. So it, it's like comes out as the mental because it's hard on the psyche because your body's trying to deal with it and it can't because it's all up here. So the rest of your body gets suppressed from being able to experience it because your brain is trying to shut it down. It sure makes sense. But some would say, well, you don't have a degree, so where are you getting your information from? Where are you getting your qualifications from? I'm getting it from experience. And I explained that like when I'm adulting, it's shifting. It's epiphanies, not only my own, but as a collective, as a whole. I told you it can get trippy, really interesting. And it's like my channel, my channel's not for everyone. And that's okay. Because some people's channels not for me. But I do look at different channels because it's not about like taking someone else, it's seeing someone else's potential. Going to see people's stories, what it is that they're going through. I like seeing excitement. I like seeing change in the world. I hate seeing like show of spreading fear and anger and hate. Wish. And you go on these Facebook pages and people are commenting on stuff and then they're saying about other people, but in all honesty, when you're doing it, it's like, well, you're doing what they want. It was something to do with the premiere or something. Which I didn't read the article or anything like that. And I said, like, propaganda and about it dividing us, putting us fighting against one another. It's like you're doing exactly what they want you to be doing. And that's basically what I said. And it's like, well, it's like people say they're not a follower. But in that, it's like, well, you get the one side and the other side. And you're feuding against the difference of opinion or people's beliefs. It's like, unless someone is hurting you or someone in that aspect, then how are the beliefs any harm? Whether you're experiencing it, if it's not hurting now and it's not hurting others, then why do we have to beat it out of them? I just heard somebody say about well, reality. Well, what's reality? Maybe somebody else's reality is different to yours because they're not living the same life you're living. You're just telling them what life you're living in, and you expect everybody else to be living in that life, but they're not. They're living in their own life. They're living their own life, and people draw others in. It's like it's like some could say it'd be like an infringing when we try to. It's like allowing people to come to things on their own, opposed to trying to push your beliefs on them, because we always believe that our beliefs are the right beliefs. But how is one person's beliefs any more valid than the other person's beliefs? Why not like be open to everyone's different beliefs? When we're at work, because we're all confined to a box because of generational teachings, generational trauma. You know, we're seeing about ours, but we put it on our own children. Yes, I am a mother, and I had my difficulties with my children. I'm moving energy. It's like a healing. And I just heard someone say I can feel it. I've had uh, people say that they can feel it, and it's all go like you're able to just flow. And if you're flowing and it doesn't feel good, it's change it up. About a year and a half, 2 years has been the more intense, to say the least. But in 2020, it was intense then, and it kind of like got a little easier. I was a little calmer, and then I went through some rough waters, and I started finding my inner. I had the bitch before, but it would only come out if I was drinking, or I'd have to be really pushed to a limit because in a lot of times I wouldn't say shit if I had a mouthful. And trust me, I've had mouthfuls, but it wouldn't come out. And that's the part of like, you know, you don't like how it goes back down into your body, and then your body is at disease, and it gets painful. You get a lot of backaches, like especially if you've had like trauma to your body parts or something happen, you get more, and it becomes more acerbated because you're not moving that energy. It's all being pushed down. Like I've heard so many different things, and I, I find it hard because it's like people are quick to give up on me, but it's not about giving up on the person as being able to put boundaries because I still want to help the person, but I got to learn to set my own boundaries because I'm going to be on. I sometimes I feel like I'm jumping the gun, and a lot of times what I'm experiencing is it's like it comes from the depths here and it comes up and it gets right here. So then I know, like I said before, then when it gets here, then what it is it's the heart. There's been heart trauma there between spirits, like a broken heart. Disappointing, I think yes. Yeah, searching, yeah. Not not so much searching as just kind of it's like being in it, being in the energy for a moment because your brain and your heart and your body is just kind of trying to sort itself out. Just plastic, I know. It's all good. It's it's shifting. And not just myself, but I know it's like the collective is shifting. And you will get like if you get a jolt like that, it's like just shift it. Something moves. Sigarette, I'm getting spacey. Secondo questo yeah. Oh, my head is just like, "You're inside." It's like, "Oh, that feels good." Yeah. Spastic but authentic because, wherever you may be, just let yourself fly free. But it is. It's like you get on your own natural high and you don't really need like, you don't need alcohol and drugs. I use CBD because it actually calms like, it keeps me kind of calm because I, uh, feel anxiety a lot, whether it's my own or someone else's, and it's like I said before, when you feel it, but not necessarily your own rage. Holy shit. So then you come, I just come, like, be in my space, and then I just scream it out. When I used to go for walks, I'd be in the woods, and I know the whole friggin' neighborhood would hear me because it would just be, I just let it out because it's that part of you. Like sometimes it's like sometimes we hit it low. Don't hit people. Don't take it out on other people because that's that's what you're experiencing. That's what your body's feeling, and it's not so much other people's. It's just somebody triggered something within you, and it wouldn't hurt a part of the spirit part of you, and that part didn't like it, so it had to release, it had to come out. They tell us not like some will say like, "Well, you don't cry," but like don't cry. Why are you still worried about it now? It's because you haven't dealt with it. You haven't fully dealt with it, and it's not about I say dealt with. It's not about like being dealt with. It's more of work through because when you're working through it, you're more compassionate with yourself. Whereas if you're told to deal with it, you're really hard on yourself, and then you put that barrier up, you put that shield, and that's because when you put that protection up because we don't want to deal with or look at something that's causing us pain, and that's why we continue to feel pain because we're told to keep repeating things as opposed to, like I said, working through it, seeing it, feeling it, experiencing it, what have you, in your body, so that your body can release it, so that you can get out of your head and you can release it from your body because if you release it from your body, you release it from your head. It's the aspect of, like they say, mental health. Well, mental health, and I'll say it again, mental health is caused from a lack of spiritual health. And it doesn't mean like that you're like you have one belief or the other. Spirituality, spiritual health is being able to be connected to yourself, to be able to be in the moment, to be able to just feel nature, be in nature, be comfortable around, adaptable, being able to experience things. And when you start doing that, sometimes it can feel like it feels like it's out of control. But it's always coming back to knowing that you are the one in control. It doesn't you can't let it control you. You're the one in control, and that's neither male nor masculine or feminine nor masculine. You're in control of you. We give others control. And that's where, like you say, with consent. So I just hear take back your power. Because it's not that you want to overpower someone else. You want to be in control of your like what you want to experience. And I know that outside things can kind of interfere or get in the way or what have you. I know that. But it's that part of feeling like, okay, maybe it didn't go the way you had planned for some other reason. We went for a ride one day and we were going up the highway and we were also going to have the GPS. And we could have got there quicker by the highway, but instead, the GPS took us off the highway. And I was getting a feeling the whole way up the old road. And I told someone that that's weird that they took us this way. And I said, like, you know, I said, I'm getting that there was an accident down the road. And then we went home. We got home, or little later, I Googled it to find out. Sure enough, in between the highway where we would have been going, there was like a 3-car accident. And I was feeling it. And I told someone that that's what happened. So that was the universe telling us that we got to take me this way because I would have felt that intensely, and I would have had nowhere to go in that sense. But I have more awareness of it now and more control to and learn more and more to be able to look and kind of transmute it. Doesn't mean that I'm not feeling it or experiencing it. It's just not as intense. And most people are actually feeling something. It's not about um, one empath or another. Everybody is always feeling something. They're just not aware of it, or they just dismiss it. We usually say, "Oh, that's this." It's a synchronicity because it's probably come on the heels of something before that, and you've probably said the same thing. You don't got to tell me I'm weird. You think I don't already know that? Proud to be weird. Because who says we have to fit in? Moving. See, I could do this, like as a word in front of you, but maybe the talking and just moving because it's actually you can actually start you can feel it in your body. Some may resonate with what I am putting out, and some may look in and say, "What the fudge? What are you doing, lady? I'm going insane, man!" Questa cosa io già la penso e altro e ando tutto via. Lost it a long time ago. But did I lose it or did I find it? Because I believe I found it. Praise the hallelujah God! Ti sicuriaš kada prije kultuje? right here. It's like it's like yeah, this is can be trippy, and I just heard somebody. I don't want to do that. I guess I'm just in like I'm in more trouble. No, I'm just kidding. It's not about like it's not about being in trouble or anything like that. It's I don't know, like I don't I it's my body shifts and it's when we shift like when that happens to us. And I know a lot of it happens to a lot of people. When that's happening, like I said, it's your body shifting. It's the electrical currents going through your body. Everything firing off. It's like that epiphany, man. If you can't hide it, go with it. So, um, sebenarnya salah kesimpulan ya itu ya itu deh teh itu itu bisa sih dong itu kok dari guys. I had somebody ask me last night about like because when they speak, they said that some of it felt like it was repetitive. It's like yes, it's like singing a song in a chorus. Okay, you get repetitive words or verses in my classic base. So when it repeats, it's giving that vibration, it's giving that frequency, it's giving that uh, message, code, light, what have you. So I was like, so you can, it's like the smoke screen. It's like the smoke screen. I might learn to talk. I'd rather talk in the different forms of language than speak English anymore because it's like it's say like just if you feel like you're gonna speak gibberish and it feels like it's just gonna push out, well that's spirit saying, okay, bring it out. Like, allow it to come up. It may sound strange, it may be just a word or a little bit, anything like that. It's that release. It's that movement. Okay? It's the beginning of more of a kundalini in your awakening because it means that things are shifting within you. You're moving things, you're releasing things, or you're coming to your truths. Look at a boom. It's I just heard somebody say it's like a trance. um, not some could say that it was a trance, but it's just I'm in that moment in that space. I can resonate with this song. No, I don't care. It's like, God gave me these gifts, so, There'll be something else for me to come when it's time. But right now, they say that, well, we're all spirit, we're all from spirit. So if I'm here serving spirit, then I'm here to also help you guys and myself in the meantime, because when you help yourself, you're actually helping others, whether you realize that or not, because you're different aspects of self. It's like, saying, some have heard it before, pop body farted, but he really shit himself. it's, it's like, we've had so many thoughts and we have not had time to calm our minds that our thoughts went rampant, and it was like we sent our spirit in many different directions. That's why when you see someone familiar, that's an aspect of yourself. Like sometimes we see people that look like someone else, but it's not that person. It's for that person, because I know someone who we were somewhere, and we were parked, and this person walked by, and the one that I was with said, "Holy crap, that looks like so and so right there," but there was no way that it would have been that person because they were deceased. Or were we seeing on a different part where it was a part of him, or were we seeing spirit, this form of spirit? Because everybody comes in our past through this message. Apparently, someone's connected. Like, all you have to do is just start moving. Just let it flow, and don't force it. It also helps to bring the center of the balance. It's like that calm. Sorry, I'm just kind of looking at the time. I guess I'm gonna get going. Okay. That's a spirit to spirit. And I'm pretty sure that spirit knows what spirit it is. But I know what you are. So I'm gonna read the last card. again, thank you. I really appreciate it. No birds, no bird soars too high if he soars with his own wings. Well, that's part of knowing that others have possibly something that they can contribute to, because that's the part of, we may think we're always right, but sometimes people have a different perspective, and it may just make sense. With that being said, I'm sending you all much love, light, many blessings, most importantly, very good health to anyone and everyone who wants to be aligned to receive this. In this world, to be big, bold, brave. Most importantly, be yourself. Be your authentic self. Be true to yourself. Be who you are, not who somebody says you have to be. Be kind to yourself and to others. Sending you love. Know that you are more powerful and you have more strength than what you comprehend sometimes. Sending you all love.